Hi guys. So now that we know, we've officially seen the Letitia James press conference, or at least heard about it, and I'll post it in the down below. And because it's really good and important to watch, and I'll reference it in this read. Now these are the cards I pulled last night. I did get some things wrong, but I think I was onto some things, and I also, interestingly, want to stand by some things that I think are still a part of what has begun today in this announcement. One thing I can say, and I even woke up in the middle of the night and I thought, what? Of course, these are 2 pages. I should have known right away. It's going to be not such a big deal. I should have known that this was not an indictment. I remember thinking, or is it a subpoena? It's like something, it's a lawsuit. It's a civil lawsuit. And also because we have these 9s, that this is sort of a continuation. It's not a 9 being toward the end, but not the end, a 10 being the end. So I knew, in this also, it's sort of still an ongoing investigation, which is exactly what she said. So now what I really think that we're seeing here is that this announcement today was a sort of an appetizer. Now I think of this page of cups as sort of, would you like some soup before your dinner? And that's what that press conference was for. I mean, why call a press conference and also announce that press conference as a national concern just to announce a lawsuit? I've seen Letitia, I follow her on Twitter, she announces lawsuits all the time on Twitter and even does just statements like that. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. I understand that might have been a gesture because she does see this as a sort of very powerful organization in the country. So it could have been just a gesture of respect or something, to take questions like she did. But I'll just say more of what I think. Because what I think is that there's more coming, and in a way I think that it's sort of like a soft step toward possibly something bigger, and it must have been important to them to do that. And the only reason it would be important to do that is because they already know, and I have here this 9 of Wands, which makes me think they already have things in line as far as knowing that there's criminal wrongdoing here. But they didn't want to maybe go to suddenly this giant thing that looks like people are being carted away in handcuffs or arrested, and it looks like some kind of a crazy coup or something. Also, Letitia has said in her press conference, if she sees criminal activity has taken place, she will pass it on to the District Attorney of New York. That's Cy Vance. I think that's who we have here. So I do think the criminal stuff will be passed on. She also says she is, and this isn't even an if, she is already passing the information she has from her case to the IRS. Which I said here, I believe this is tax law. I think that she already knows tax law has been broken. So it's like this was sort of a setup to something that they already know is coming, which is going to be criminal charges. It was just like a soft step toward that. One thing, and by the way, I should have also known, I noticed there were 2 9s here. I did not even notice there were 3 9s here. It's very interesting. August. So maybe it'll happen still in August. Maybe this is all sort of planned to happen in August. By August, of course, I mean September, the 9th month. I remember yesterday when I read this, I felt that she had gotten a sort of almost like a text, like, go ahead, you're good to go. Because let me explain. So I think that this magician, the magician in general is the most powerful card, the most powerful figure in the tarot deck. The magician uses all 4 elements to become as powerful as he is. The cups, the swords, the pentacles, the wands. I never like to show my pinky because I broke it when I was a kid. So it's crooked. Sorry about that. Anyway, So we have a very, very powerful, and what I believe we have here, and I said this yesterday, as this is like the full operation. What I mean by the full operation is I believe this is more than just her office. And I also said I think this Knight of Swords is Michael Cohen, right? And so I immediately thought, oh, well, I got that wrong. But then I was like, wait a minute. I decided to do a little research. Is there any connection between Michael Cohen and the NRA money stuff, you know? And I found some information that other people were talking about on Twitter. Michael Cohen was the deputy, was from 2017 to 2018. That would have been directly after Trump took office. The deputy finance chair of the GOP. The two people who held this position before him. Correction, these two held this same position the same year as he did, 2017 to 2018. Both had to leave because of criminal sort of misconduct, okay? Steve Wynn, it turned out he'd been engaging in sexual misconduct for like 20 years, so he got investigated for that and had to drop out. Then comes Elliot Brody, who's a really sketchy figure, who also ended up having to leave. He got caught in the scandal of playing off a Playboy playmate for getting I believe, an abortion or something. He also has been involved in a whole scandal involving foreign money. And by the way, side note, my husband worked for the Brodys for many years here in Los Angeles, not in any business way. He's like a bartender for fancy people. He actually met George Bush working at a dinner party there. And so it's been really weird for us that Elliot Brody has been in the news and somehow tied to all this Trump GOP weird stuff. So anyway, Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen was in that position. It looks like they only want criminals in that position or people who will play ball, sort of like loyalists. So is it possible that there was some of this money laundering, this funneling? There's all these things that we saw in these cards, and this card was at the bottom of the deck. So this is not what's coming out now, but this is sort of what's beneath the surface. And what I believe we saw, this Wheel of Fortune with this Three of Swords, I believe this is a funneling of money. And I've said this before in other reads, I keep getting this Wheel of Fortune, and sometimes I sort of feel that as a money funneling operation. Three of Swords, that's heartbreak, that's coming down on something. I don't know if I'm reading too much into this tower here as sort of a hint toward Trump Tower. I saw this Hanged Man and I said, this is Jared? And I honestly think it's because it looks like Jared. It really does look like Jared. Did I just jump to Jared because it looks like Jared? I said someone, they've got someone. So this could just be Wayne LaPierre. They've got him. But, I don't know, maybe it's more. And then I also do think that what we're in, this is, like I said, like the deeper cases beneath what we're getting at the surface. This World card and this High Priestess being sort of more of that world mob. I do think we're going to get into some foreign money, some foreign funneling of some money, maybe, into the campaign. Because that's what they used to say they thought was happening, like that the NRA was being used to funnel money into the Trump campaign. This world mob thing. But then this can also mean like completion. Maybe we're looking at ultimately in the end, the mystery that we've all been seeing all this sketchy stuff and wanting to understand the completeness of what all this weird, mysterious stuff that we're seeing that seems to get brushed aside. And then 2 years later, someone says something about it. It's just crazy. So yeah, I think that the four powers, the four elements of this magician, Cy Vance, District Attorney of New York, Jeffrey Berman, U.S. Attorney, SDNY, now replaced by Audrey Strauss. Then we got Letitia James, AG, New York, and then I think the FBI. I think all four of those are working together to create the power of this magician. I did another read on Cy Vance, and I got this magician card right here. Right after that read, I wanted to do a deeper read into this magician card to make sure that because I felt this was to be, and I see it now as more than just Cy Vance, but the people Cy Vance is working with. And I saw this Knight of Swords beneath that Magician card. And I immediately thought, that is Michael Cohen. And that was right when Michael Cohen had been, I think it was like the day he got thrown in jail. And I remember, and this was one thing I sort of felt really validated and kind of amazed when I heard, because I said, I think Bill Barr threw him in jail. And now literally he's suing Bill Barr for throwing him in jail. And I thought I was like kind of like going too far with like a conspiracy theory, but it really was true. And so the fact that I see him here with the Magician again is wild to me. So I think it's telling us something to that. I had said that I thought this was a family fortune, but I said also it could be like a mob family. If you listen to Letitia talk about the NRA, they exactly behaved as a mob family. It's actually, I mean, the more, I watched it twice, because the more you listen to the way they behaved, the more you have to believe there is more criminality going on, even more than what Letitia is talking about here, as she gives us a taste of it, right? There's this movie with Hugh Jackman called Bad Education. It's a terrible title, but it's a good movie, and he plays this principal who starts like funneling education money and into his own pockets for his own life and living sort of a wealthy man's life, but nobody knew he was doing it. In this situation, it seems like everyone around Wayne LaPierre knew what he was doing, and not only that, they were also being paid off. They were also, so it's like the whole organization's like, if you want to be in the family, you have to be corrupt. And and people who like were, she also said whistleblowers, people who tried to speak out against what they were doing, would get fired, would get kicked out of the NRA, they would get fired. So she was really trying to tell us a story that this was really being run like a mob. And I believe there's much more criminality, some of the things maybe we have imagined, like the money laundering and the foreign money, and maybe even funneling it into the GOP stuff, and that's maybe why Michael Cohen is here, being protected. But I do think this is like sort of like mob family money, living large, living comfortably, going on these grand vacations. And also, they used it on their families. Their families were also had access to this lifestyle and enjoying it. So I kind of felt right on that. And then the final outcome. So let's look at this again. I did see this as America being owed a lot of money. And now I know this is Cy Vance now, this King of Wands. So it will be turned over to, some stuff will be turned over to Cy Vance, and I believe he will sort of take the criminal side of it from here. Again, I also think there's tax stuff. Maybe he'll take that under his wing also. And Temperance does also tell us, like, be patient. This isn't, rolling in tomorrow. Now, I did see this as America. Some people, when they see the Empress, they think it can be like Mother Russia. Do we have Russia here? Russia with the 10 of Pentacles. 10 also being that completion, finally. Getting all the money figured out. I saw this as America is owed money. And it's sort of like that thing, like, people sort of dream that someday, like, Trump's going to have to pay back, everything that he has taken from America in some way or another. I don't know if it's just Trump or a bigger organization, where they sort of take your valuables and start bringing it in to the investigation. Like, I see that, like, eventually happening. And, and I also believe that in this 9 of Swords, you see how the swords are dropping? So she's kind of relieved, even though this is a card traditionally of high anxiety, which I think she did have last night. There was a relief in letting this out and also passing some stuff on. She, for some reason, I think feels a little more safe. And that's interesting too. Sometimes you can feel safer if you've put it out there publicly, then you're less likely to be targeted in any negative way. But agree, as one commenter said, pray for her and her safety. And I also want to say thank you to those who stuck up for me. I know there was that troll that was mean. And I try to get to the comments to get rid of those when they come up. But that was so nice. You guys stuck up for me. You guys are awesome. So I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't have anything else I wanted. Oh, and she also said no one is above the law. This is something she says about Trump. It's like, I also think this could be a sort of warning. Like, things are coming. We've got it. We're looking into everything. We're going to get there. Because I do think that a lot of things are coming toward trying to get, because they know Trump's a criminal and they would really like him to resign. So that, so that he doesn't continue on as our president. So that's that. I hope you guys liked the reread now that we have more information. And thanks for being here. Let me know if you have any thoughts, as always, or also if there's anything else you would like me to read on. Happy to do it. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you later. Bye.